this is fitting music with Gerald Celente on with us. I want to be specific with him in a moment and get into the next phase in the collapse, how he sees this historically unwinding and unfolding. Bob Chapman will also join us next hour to specifically burrow in to his research. I know he's on it to find out exactly what happened yesterday. The word is there was a lot of people that were short on gold in Europe and that they had to dump stock to be able to cover their position. We know it wasn't a fat finger. It wasn't Procter & Gamble. That's even CNBC admits. It was at least 9 stocks simultaneously that did this, and they halted trading in Europe. A lot of chicanery. We have a specialist on that issue alone, Bob Chapman, joining us next hour. Before we go back to our guest, we produced and released 2 new films in the month of April. I released, of course, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, which is just excellent, exposing the New World Order, the global government, who these people are, how to stop them, government drug dealing, government kidnapping, white slavery, how they're bribing people, how they're controlling them, what the banks are doing, and Police State 4, The Rise of FEMA, how they're planning to suppress the people, training to take on the Tea Parties, training the military to take on the American people, the reality of the FEMA camps. It's all proven in Police State 4, The Rise of FEMA. But remember William Lewis, who made Camp FEMA and a lot of other great films, with Gary Franchi. They have released a new film. I've got it here in stock. We can't start shipping it till the 16th or 17th. It officially comes out the 17th, but that's just a week away, a little more than a week away, about 8-9 days away. If you want it first, we're going to ship this out, UPS or Postal Service, however you order it, and your purchase supports us. But that's not what's important here. That's not what's important, okay? Supporting us is secondary. This film exposes the 9th and 10th Amendment powers, the states' rights rebellion. In fact, I have the Republican Party calling for basically the states to say no to the New World Order today and starting a states' rights task force. The point is, I'm in there, Michael Bagnerick, Dr. Edwin Vieira, so many other great political minds about how to take the states back. This is a key handbook so people know the difference between a democracy and a constitutional republic. This is such an important film. Don't tread on me. You can pre-order it now at Infowars.com. You can also watch the newest trailer because William Lewis has authorized us to make a Infowars.com-centric trailer. That's up on Infowars.com. That's up on the Alex Jones channel. You can order the DVD now. We have it with some big discounts with some of the other films. So don't tread on me, ladies and gentlemen. A refresher course on the Constitution now available at Infowars.com. The people know there's a problem, but they don't understand the full magnitude of it, so get it at Infowars.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139, and I want to thank all of you for your support of the online video bookstore. Okay, going back to Gerald Celente. Gerald, I want to rapid-fire ask you questions and have you finish the Twitter question that we mentioned before the break. But before we do that, information is power. Christ said the people perish for lack of knowledge. We're here to try to give them the knowledge. The guests I have on this show are the people that are consistently right, not the people that are consistently wrong. The people that will tell the truth, the people that are constitutionalists like yourself. And your Trends Journal is invaluable. Many of the biggest corporations on earth you've consulted for and subscribed to it. The people need the Trends Journal. How do folks get it?
Trendsresearch.com, trendsresearch.com. And I also want to make it very clear that we know these are difficult times for a lot of people. So we have a discount request form, and we try to make it available to everyone, students, unemployed. Just tell us what your situation is, and we'll do our best to help you out.
Absolutely. And again, give that website out one more time.
Trendsresearch.com. That's with an S, plural, Trends Research.
Okay, Bob Chapman's coming up, and I want to try to keep you 5 minutes to the next hour, so we have every second we can with you now to go through calls and Twitter questions. But going back to this first Twitter question that I posed as we went to break, I'd like to know if he has the same forecast for financial collapse that he had 1 year ago. Have things changed? So you've been dead on about exactly what would happen, even the countries where it would start. Do you want to revise that any, because you have new info? And then I will add the caveat, the proviso. And what do you see coming in the year after that? What comes next?
All right, here it is. This came out on when it was released in January 13th, the top trend. the crash of 2010. We stick with our forecast. Before the new year begins, no one will be able to deny that the great equity markets have crashed. The currencies are being devalued around the world. Gold prices are well over $1,500. We are sticking with our forecast that the markets will crash before the year is out. And I also want to make this very clear. It's not only going to be a financial crash. It's going to come from a lot of different directions. Our greatest fear, and we've said this when they began the great bailout bubble in March of 2009, is that when all else fails, they take you to war. So our scenario is this, Alex. We're going to see 9/11 magnitude terror strikes happen. When they happen, the last time they happened, after 2001, they closed Wall Street down for several days. If you had CDs, you couldn't cash them in. They're financial instruments. This time, they're going to close the banks. And when they reopen the banks, we forecast they will have devalued the dollar. So they'll say, don't worry about it. You'll be able to get your money out. It's backed by the FDIC, but you can't get it out all at once. And when you do get it out, it's not going to be worth a fraction of what it was before. So these are the integrated systems that we're looking at, and I'm saying this so that people take proactive measures now. Don't wait to wake up one day as you did yesterday and see the markets collapse around you. Take proactive measures now. It doesn't cost anything. But if you don't plan for the worst now and the worst happens, then you'll lose everything. If you take measures now and things happen slowly, you haven't lost anything, you've gained.
So what do? Get a lot of our money out of the bank? Most people don't even have any money to get out of the bank. What do? Get some storable food, water, get a second job now so you're ready for what's coming. Warn your neighbors so they'll have some respect for you and listen to you when all this comes true. I mean, what do, Gerald?
Well, all of those things. Number one, about the neighbors. Like-minded people forming groups. In the event the worst happens, then you have a strategy and a plan. You can work together. It's the community. Keep your money. Don't spend a dime you don't have to spend, especially on junk and eating crappy food. Cook your own, make it better. The survival strategies that you talk about with the seeds and the water. Number three, any money that you do have, I keep it in my own hands. Why keep it in the bank? What are you getting from putting it there? You're only taking a risk. Speaking only for myself, I'm a firm believer in gold. 80% of my assets are in gold. And then people, I see these comments and they say, oh, Celente's involved with, gold companies. No, I'm not. I don't take a penny from anybody. So it's only what I do and what I believe, and I've been writing about it for years. And number four, I'm a believer in Second Amendment rights. Make sure you're armed for the worst to happen, because you're going to see violence increase at a very rapid rate. So those are the kind of initial things to consider. Grow your own, those crisis gardens that you talk about. The summer is coming upon us. You could grow all the food you need to feed your family and have a lot left over and put it up for the winter. So anything you can do, that Yankee frugality, let's go back to the things that made this country what it was. Use it up, wear it out, make it do without.
Well, expanding on that, I think about my grandfather on my dad's side. He would repair his own equipment. I mean, you talk about MacGyver, and all those old farmers and ranchers were like that. My dad has a lot of those skills. I don't have 1/10 of the skills my dad has. He has probably half the skills his father had. And everybody knew, even in good times, to have storable food, to be prepared, to save money, because they'd gone through the Great Depression. And if we had right at 90% of the public being rural during the Great Depression and being self-sufficient, and still major universities have estimated 17 million starved to death over those 10 years, And now we have 89% being urban, and only about 11% being rural. Only half of the rural are somewhat self-sufficient in national studies. If we have another meltdown depression like that, nobody's going to be able to take care of you. The government, the banks, they couldn't even help with Katrina. They can't even stop an oil leak. I mean, my God, we're talking about a road warrior situation. And I see the reports where they're laying off half the teachers in some cities, more than half the cops, half the sheriff's deputies. And the half they keep are there in the news being told they're just there to raise revenue and write tickets for the government. So, and I'm starting to see a lot of sheriffs in Texas and Pennsylvania and Ohio say, buy guns. You've got to protect yourself. So we're seeing the veneer of the civilization, the rotten paint starting to peel off.